Today I'm going to film a makeup tutorial. I am basically filming a get ready with me, so it's going to be get ready with me work appropriate makeup. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some concealer on. I'm doing concealer first because I'm just going to do a powder foundation. It's kind of lighter for work. Oh, ignore my hair. It's pretty terrible as I usually have it. So I'm just going to put it in this area of my eye and kind of take it down. My face looks really red right now because I just washed it. I'm just going to kind of rough pat that in there, and then I'm going to take a brush and sort of blend it. Okay, so that's a concealer on. Now I'm going to just take this powder foundation. There's so many different brands that do this. I like the MAC Studio Fix one. It comes with this little sponge in the bottom, but like I find that it applies better with a brush, specifically a flat top brush that isn't too dense, but sort of dense. That way you get good coverage with it, but it doesn't go cakey. Because if you use the little sponge it comes with, I find it tends to cake up and it doesn't look very good. But this brush seems to work perfectly, and this one is a BH Cosmetics 123 brush. So I just kind of load that up on the brush and tap off the excess, and then I just start rubbing it in. And if done right, I find using a powder foundation looks like skin. The great thing about powder foundation too is it's super duper fast. Like, you can just slap it on there and it's so fast and so easy. Like, done. For my eyebrows, I'm going to use the Anastasia brow definer. I'm using the color medium brown for this. It's a bit of a... I either use medium brown or brunette. Brunette's a little bit darker. Medium brown works really good when I'm doing more of a natural makeup look because it's not so dark. So it blends in a little bit easier. And I have like the world's patchiest eyebrows ever, so I like this one too because it has a really chunky tip. So I don't put a whole lot on. I focus on just trying to fill in the gappy areas, which is like the bottom here, a little bit on the top, and then I have like no eyebrow hairs on the ends here. So I try to fill those in a little bit. I am going to set them, and I'm going to use this eyebrow gel. It's from Essence. It's just a clear eyebrow gel. We're going to start in the crease. I'm going to use probably primarily these three colors right here to try to keep it neutral but have a little bit of depth to it. I'm going to start with the lightest shade. It's called Sweetheart right here. I'm going to put that one in the crease, but more kind of above it. Then I'm going to take the slightly darker shade Rebel, this one right here. I'm also going to place that in the crease, but I'm going to place it lower. I'll just use the same brush for that. So this is just going to create a little bit of depth, whereas the first shade we put in, it's like a mid-tone shade so that you can get a nice soft gradient effect when blending the shadows away so you don't have a harsh edge. When laying the darker colors, I like to place most of the color on the outer portion of the eye and then sweep it softly into towards the inner portion of the eye. And once I've laid that color, I like to take a fluffy blending brush and just make sure that I'm softening out all the edges so it blends together nicely. There. Now I'm going to come back to the crease a bit later. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to lay my lid color. For my lid color, I'm going to use the shade Firecracker. This one right here. I don't know that it's showing true because there's so much light on it. It's a really nice shade. And I'm just going to place that all over the lid. And then what we do after that is we take the crease brush to blend the crease colors in with the lid color I laid down. Now I want to bring a little bit of a spicy color into this and focusing it more on the outer corner. This is a very nice chocolatey warm shade. It's got a lot of like reddish undertones to it. It's the shade Leader, this one. I'm going to focus that mostly on the outer V of the eye. And again, it's all about adding and blending and adding and blending. Now what I'm going to do to kind of blend the outer corner with the rest of the lid is I am going to take more of this shade Sweetheart, and I'm just going to blend them all together. And for the inner corner, I'm going to take this shade Funny Girl. I'm going to pull it up onto the lid here in the inner third a little too. going to do is I'm going to put a shade on my brow bone. For that one, I'm going to use a matte shade. I'm going to use the shade Charmer in this palette. It's just this white shade right here. Now we want to incorporate some of the colors we did on the upper lid on the lower lash line. I'm going to take the shade Sweetheart and I'm going to run that on the lower lash line first. I'm going to use a pencil brush to do that. And then I'm going to take the shade Leader, which is what we used on the outer corner, the outer V of the eye, and we're going to put that just on this part, the outer part of the lower lash line as well. And drag it up into that outer V area. Okay, so for the lash line, what I'm going to use is just eyeshadow. Usually I do this, is I take a dark eyeshadow and I just line the lash line with it, just to create the illusion of a bit of a thicker lash line and to add a little bit of depth on there, without it being too much like liquid or gel eyeliner can sometimes be. And I'm going to take this dark eyeshadow here, Activist, and I'm just going to use that one. And I'm just using the Maybelline Lash Sensational mascara. Okay, so finishing off the face, I'm going to add a little bit of bronzer. For that, I'm going to use, what am I going to use today? I think I'll use my, do I have it up here? I'm going to use my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer for that. And just a Real Techniques blush brush. So this is the Butter Bronzer. I'm just going to put a little bit, don't want a lot. Maybe I'll add a little bit on my nose too here. And there. Then I'm going to do my blush, which I'm going to use Warm Soul. MAC Mineralized Skin Finish Warm Soul. On the lips, I'm going to use the Dior Addict Lip Glow, and I'm going to use the shade 004 Coral. This looks like it's orange, but when you put it on, it's supposed to adapt to your lip moisture levels, which for me is none, and create like your perfect shade. Now because we used a powder foundation, I'm going to tone down the powderiness of my skin, and I'm just going to use the MAC Prep and Prime Fix Plus, and I'm just going to spray that on my face. There we go. So this is the finished makeup look. I hope you liked it. If you did, please like and subscribe.